You hate the Nigerian. You hate the Zimbabwean. You address them verbally. You accost them physically and let the whites slide. They're not South African. They're European. That's why they're white.
Why would black South Africans hate other black immigrants who are in South Africa more than they hate apartheid? This is the video that we are going to react today, and this video is courtesy of the Saint. The Saint, he has spoke a lot on the issue of black South Africans hating another black family and embracing the white. I've been saying this all the time, that why would you hate the immigrants who are black and yet you don't hate with the same energy, you don't hate the white in South Africa? Let's listen to the Saint. Thank you, the Saint, for bringing up this this topic. I talked about it and you have talked about it, and let's hear you and then we go react on it.
This is a message to the black South Africans, which are the only South Africans. If you're not black, you're not really a South African. You are one who immigrated or who invaded. This is a message to you black South Africans. Many of you are deeply ignorant and lost and hateful, mostly of yourselves. And that's why it's so easy for you to enact that hatred on other blacks who immigrate into your country, be it legally or illegally. Mostly they seek the same thing, economic opportunity, such that they might be able to provide for their family, which is a typical thing among humankind. Do I believe that a nation state should have borders and processes to let folks in? Yes, absolutely. Citizenship does mean something. But for you black South Africans, you natives, I think it's strange that you find it so easy to look at the Zimbabweans or look at the Nigerians, other blacks, and hate them. Why? Because you're both competing and struggling to gather up those crumbs that have fallen from the table of the apartheid white South Africans. They seem to be beyond reproach, a minority that controls the majority of your economy, the real wealth, the real power. And you don't attack them. You don't tell them that they're immigrants, that they're foreign invaders, that they need to go back to their countries. They're in Africa. They're not Africans. How is it that you find it easier to tell someone who's Shona to go back to their country, but you can't tell this fellow over here speaking Dutch or speaking whatever European language he speaks that he needs to pack up and go back? I find it strange. It's so easy for you to hate the black Zimbabwean, the black Nigerian, the black immigrant, because you hate yourself. And what's more is that you are white supremacists, and clearly believing in black inferiority and white superiority, and because you hold them in such high esteem, you view them as invincible. You're terrified of them, not terrified of the blacks who come in. Oh, you want to burn them down. You want to hunt them down and move them out. You riot against them. Social unrest against them. But the apartheid whites who control your economy and wealth and look down upon you and have done so for decades, them, let them slide. There are lies. For example, Elon Musk, one of your white South Africans, he's come to my country, the United States of America. He pretends to be one of us. He even talks about limiting immigration. I wish we would have limited and stopped him from coming in. We don't need to import new strains of racism. He is indeed a white racist, a white supremacist in our midst. And he lied and said that there was genocide, anti-white sentiment and white genocide going on in South Africa. It's not true. I know because I've been there on the ground in South Africa quite recently. Most recently, I was in Durban, Cape Town, and Joburg. I've been to South Africa many times. And there's no anti-white anything. In fact, I observed shockingly that there's a little bit of anti-black this and that. I was in an affluent neighborhood in Cape Town, and I tried to go into a restaurant and they wouldn't seat me. I looked around, all of the staff were black, all of the patrons were white. And I realized, I guess if I'd like to come in here, I ought to be working, not dining, not at leisure. I guess it is a bit of a new concept well-to-do blacks in South Africa. It was a real experience. I remember I saw some coloreds and I'd ask them like, hey, I went into this restaurant, they wouldn't seat me. What's that about? I didn't want to make assumptions. They say, oh, yeah, welcome to South Africa. I just found it hard to accept that in Africa, the place for the blacks, you still have discrimination against blacks. In the country of your forefathers, you are still the servant, largely. I want to challenge you all because I find it strange that you allow foreigners, be those foreigners Asian, white, Jewish, or whatever, to come in and rule over you. For all of the blacks watching, especially the South Africans, ask yourself, where can you go in the world and find a minority ruling a majority? It's hard to find, isn't it? I ask you further, where can you go in the world and find blacks ruling over whites? Nowhere. But you can go many places and find the blacks, be them the majority or not, being ruled over by others. You should probably change that unless you believe you are a part of the servant class. If you believe that in the master-slave dynamic, you're always the slave. You see, it bothers me, the mentality of the black South Africans, because you hate the Nigerian. You hate the Zimbabwean. You address them verbally. You accost them physically and let the whites slide. They're not South African. They're European. That's why they're white. Is your idea that because they immigrated a long time ago, they're not, they didn't immigrate, they invaded. Because they invaded a long time ago that they're not invaders anymore? They're not immigrants anymore? No, they're guests in your country. Really, they are. And that's how things should be arranged. And what I mean is this. I'm a black American. And I'm aware that the blacks are about 12% of the population. The whites are 60%. It's a white country. They are the rulers in that land. I respect and understand that. It's sensible. You are 90% plus of the population in your land. Your blood goes back into the soil in that land. You are supposed to be the rulers in that land. Some of you might, Marquette, they have a black president. And don't they also have a lot of mineral wealth? Do they have diamonds? Do they have other forms of wealth in the earth? Who's in control of it? Is it the blacks? And furthermore, you all have bigger issues than a couple black people like yourselves, similar to yourselves, coming into the country trying to make a buck. You have issues with what your government euphemistically calls load shedding, which means that the electrical grid is in disrepair and the electricity is inconsistent. That means your political class is incompetent. And many of you have been tricked. You have fake revolutionaries, those like Julius Malema, who on the surface of things would seem like he's a nationalist, but in reality, he's merely a liberal white woman. Yes, got into the government, became co-opted, and now he's part of the system. When really that system probably needs to be overthrown. I'm certainly not promoting communism or socialism. It won't help your economy, I promise you that. But I can assure you that one who does promote communism or socialism could never be a proper African. These are European ideologies, Jewish ideologies. But Julius Malema is a black nationalist. How? When he's out of line with African values. I remember and will never forget when he protested the democratic outcomes in other African nation states where they voted to sweep away LGBTQ. Where they put in legislation in place to protect their culture and more importantly their children, anti-LGBTQ legislation, and he protested it, which is a colonial mindset. That's what the Europeans do. They go take over. They force you to adopt their culture, their ways, their religion, their thinking, their ideology, their perversity. That's what he was trying to do.
Welcome back. Now, the video the Saint has done is to criticize the behavior of black South Africans hating another black immigrants, like, for example, the Zimbabweans, those from Lesotho, Nigerians, Somalis. I've come across videos and clips and tweets where a South Africa will tweet saying that the problem in our country is Somalis and Nigerians. And yet, we have the apartheid, we have the whites people who have embezzled the wealth of South Africa, who have taken over South Africa for long. We have the issue of apartheid, where the white people were segregating the black people. But yet, the energy that black South Africans are using to hate black immigrants, it's higher, with a higher voltage than the energy they are using to hate whites. Because I come across videos, and when I see comments, I see people saying that if this guy was a black, was a Nigerian, was a Somali, was an Ethiopian, these black South Africans could even go to their home and burn their home. But because he is white, they don't say anything. I've seen video where a white person is beating a black person in South Africa. A white person is using his car to hit a black person's car. But the black South Africans around there does not do anything. But if it was someone from Nigeria or someone from Ghana or someone from Zimbabwe, they could be chaos. So, and that's my question today. And that's the question the Saint is asking, and he has given answers that we have listened to it. Do you agree with him, what he's trying to say? For me, I agree fully with him, because we are calling for the unity of black people. We are calling for the unity of Africans. These are brothers from another country, from Zimbabwe, from Ghana, from Nigeria. They are here in South Africa to build South Africa. We are living as brothers, all of us black people. And in the Middle East, we have white people who are the minority in this country, but they are the majority in owning the economy of South Africa. They have taken over lands of South Africa. They have taken over good jobs in South Africa, and everything good in South Africa, it's in the hands of white people. But you find a black South African hating a black immigrants, hating a Nigerian, hating a Kenyan, hating a Somalian more than he hates the whites. I have never understood this logic up to today. I want any South Africa, I know you are here watching the videos, please. I want you to explain to me what really happened sometimes. What is really behind this logic of hating black immigrants more than whites? Some are claiming that the black immigrants are coming to take our jobs. But whites have taken our lands. Whites have taken everything from us. These Nigerians are coming here to work, not to take our jobs. Because I believe they look at the qualification of this black person, of this Nigerian, of this Kenyan. They just don't give him job. But if the whites are coming to look for job, they even don't look at their qualifications. They just give them. The people who we need to push, or who we need to place our energy of hatred to them, are the other side. But we are not saying that you need to hate anybody. You don't need to hate anyone. But if it's a must, you need to hate anyone. Why don't you hate people who changed our history as black people? Why don't you hate someone who have stolen from you your entire wealth, your family wealth, your ancestors' wealth? You don't have anything. Your children, your grandchildren, your what? They don't have anything, just because of a white person who came to your country and take over everything. Why do we have to hate black people who have come to work in South Africa? I've never understood that. I see it's time for unity. Black people to unite. Can you imagine a South African and a Nigerian uniting and speaking one language, and they use that force to reclaim what they are theirs? Can you imagine a Somalian, a South African, Nigerian, and a Ghanaian coming together, having a bond, using that energy to reclaim the land that was stolen in South Africa? There's a video I did where I said that Nigerians at some point helped South Africa when South Africa was in need. When in 1984, when South Africa was dealing with apartheid, Nigerians helped South Africa a lot. And that's what we need to do. A country, neighboring country, an African country needs to stand with a brother country. If we have lack of opportunity in Kenya, I can go to Tanzania and look for opportunity without Tanzanians saying that I'm going there to steal their jobs. If I'm stealing their job, your job, for example, I'm coming to South Africa. I'm coming to get a job in South Africa, and I get that job in South Africa. In the first place, I haven't stolen it. I've come there with my qualification. In the second place, you were there all the time when I was not there. Why didn't they give you that job? Because you never went to look for it. Because you are not in need. That's why Nigerians who are in need, Somalians who are in need, Rwandans who are in need are in South Africa looking for this job, and yet they have get it. We don't want South Africa to be like England, where they are protesting, chasing immigrants out of England, and yet they cannot do the job. You know? So it's high time to use this energy that we are hating black people with it, to use this energy to fight for Pan-Africanism, to use this energy to fight for borderless country, to use this energy to fight for one Africa, to use this energy to fight imperialism, to use this energy to fight new colonization, to use this energy that we are using to hate our black brothers, to fight corruption in the country. Because we are busy fighting our brothers, and yet the white people are busy taking our land. We are busy fighting Nigerians, we are busy fighting Somalians, and our white brothers are there taking all the quality jobs, quality education, the government, economy, and everything. I have never understood this logic. Why do black South Africans hate black immigrants more than the apartheid? Why? White people in South Africa are getting away with everything, are getting away with most of the things, are getting away with like everything. But a black immigrant in South Africa cannot get away with a single mistake because they will come over him. I just wish South Africans can come on my comment section and comment what you think about this topic. Because as far as Pan-African is concerned, this is not pure Pan-Africanism. South Africa is a very good country economically. It has grown economically, where it can fit everyone. It can fit everyone of every caliber. It can fit everyone from each country, because this is like a capital city of Africa. So we don't need to hate on black brothers. We are acting like the time of colonization, where black brothers were selling black brothers. In a return, they were given mirrors, bicycles, yet you are selling your brother. Why with this mentality of favoring the white people than our fellow black people? In a family of a Europe family, maybe in a white family in Europe, black cannot be superior than a white person. Black cannot be favored than a white person, because it's a white man's land. They get first priority. They get social payment or social something, social immunity. The government is taking care of them because they are whites in their country. But us, in our own country, in our own soil, in our motherland, we are hating each other. Please make me understand that logic, okay? Tell me what you think on the comment section. I am the Kenyan Beast. Don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel. Until next episode, peace be with you.